Hey guys, what is up? I hope you're having a fantastic day so far, and this is a special video because it has been 1 year since I created this channel, so I wanted to do a video that's a little bit different, and I wanted to do a story time for my experience at MomoCon because I didn't vlog at all while I was there, and I wanted to share that experience with you guys. And I also want to tell you guys how I collabed with the voice of Amethyst, Michaela Dietz. If you guys didn't know, I collabed with Michaela on an animation, so I will link that in the description box below and also at the end of this video. But without further ado, here is my MomoCon experience. So back in May, Ostrich Vox of the Round Table, Tom of the Round Table, Slice of Otaku, Mackenzie Atwood, aka MK Atwood, and I went to MomoCon, which was held in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, this was my first convention experience and also the first time that I was going to meet Vox, Tom, Slice, and Mackenzie in person. We had a panel there, and 6 of the Steven Universe voice actors were there. So I was pretty excited going in. The bar was set, and I can say right now that any expectations that I had going in were completely surpassed. So MomoCon is a 4-day convention running Thursday through Sunday. So I got in early Thursday morning and I checked into my hotel. Slice got in later Thursday and we hung out for a bit, which was awesome because, like I said before, this was the first time that I met anyone from YouTube in person. So Slice and I were waiting for Vox and Tom to get in because he was rooming with them for this trip. So Slice and I decided to go check out the vendor floor because Mackenzie said that she and her friends were going to be waiting in line for it to open. Slice and I get in line for our passes and we ended up going into 2 different lines, and looking back, I definitely should have just followed Slice because the line that I got in took forever. So I showed the guy at the booth my voucher for my pass. So I guess what happens is that this guy didn't have the passes ready. He needed to take the pass and then put the lanyard on them. So he has this giant pile of lanyards and they're all tangled together and he is struggling. I mean, this thing looked like the Pokemon Tangela. So I'm just standing there and Slice is just waiting for me. He already got his pass. And while I'm waiting, I glance over to the side to this girl in the booth next to the guy who's untangling this pile of lanyards, and she just has a rack of passes just sitting there. I didn't say anything because I didn't know if those passes were specifically for her to hand out, so I just kept waiting. So probably 5 minutes pass and this guy just ends up going, all right, I'm gonna need a knife. And then the girl next to his booth notices and looks at me and goes, oh, do you need a 4-day pass? And I go, yeah. And she goes, oh, here you go, and just hands me a pass off the rack that she had. So that was 5 minutes of my life that was wasted. So I get my pass, and Slice and I head down to the floor where the line for the vendors area is, and right away we see Mackenzie and her friends who are towards the front of the line. Slice and I say hi, and then we start walking and realize that this line is actually wrapping around multiple floors of the convention center. So we're standing in the middle of this, and then one of the guys who works at the con comes running up and is like, are you guys in line or not? And Slice and I go, no. Well, you guys are gonna have to get out of here because things are gonna get crazy. So Slice and I start walking away from the back of the line, and as we start walking, the front of the line actually starts moving. So Slice and I just kind of slid right in, and we were probably one of the first 50 people in the vendors area. We completely ignored and cut in line of all the probably hundreds of other people who were waiting. From there, we just said hi to Mackenzie again, and then we checked out the vendors area, and then we went back to my hotel till Vox and Tom got into Atlanta, and then from there, we all just got pizza with Mackenzie and a bunch of her friends, which was awesome. So Thursday was the chill, relaxing day, but Friday is when things got interesting. So Friday was the day that Vox, Tom, Slice, Mackenzie, and I had our panel at 1 in the afternoon. Now, this was also the first day that the voice actors were signing autographs. I got in line for Dee Dee and ran into Mackenzie, and we talked to each other for a little bit, and then I actually got to meet Dee Dee, which was awesome. So by the time that finished up, it was already about noon, so I went over to the room where our panel was going to be held to help set up, and they actually gave us a pretty big room, which was surprising. One thing that did worry us was that there was a photography for cosplaying panel going on before our setup time started, and there was almost no one in there, so we were kind of worried that no one was going to show up to our panel. But we started setting up, and we had to place all of these posters done by the talented Kitsune Sakura on each seat. And I also got to meet the amazing Kelly Christine, who helped us set up, and the panel was awesome. If you were there, it was awesome getting a chance to meet you, and we were all so happy that you came to the panel. We were all signing autographs, and that was really weird and unexpected, but it was just so great to get to meet you guys, and overall it was such an amazing experience. So our panel ends, and it was a bit of a sigh of relief because now we just had the rest of the con to relax and enjoy. So at 7 that evening, there was the first of 2 Steven Universe voice actors panels, and there was also the Night at the Aquarium event that was going to be held at the Georgia Aquarium till 10 o'clock. For the aquarium, you needed to buy tickets in advance, so Vox, Tom, Slice, and I all got ours thinking that we were going to go later that night. 7 rolls around, and I headed towards the main stage where the voice actors had their panel a little bit earlier than the guys, so I ran into Mackenzie and her friends, and we got some seats, but unfortunately we were one short, so Vox had to sit on the edges of mine and Slice's seats, which was a little bit awkward, but we made it work. So the voice actor panel ends, and we get together in a group and decide whether or not we want to go to the aquarium, and keep in mind that we did have to pay money for these tickets, but at this point it's probably around 8:15, and this aquarium event ends at 10, and we still really weren't sure, so we headed up from the main stage to the second floor of the convention center, and they had these little seating areas, and we picked one right in front of an escalator. So we're sitting there for a bit, and at this point it's probably around 8:30, but I look over at the escalator and I see Michaela Dietz, Dee Dee Magno-Hall, and Grace Rolick, who voiced Amethyst, Pearl, and Connie, coming up the escalator. So Mackenzie doesn't notice them at first, and I just look at Mackenzie and point behind her, and she turns around and says hey to them, and then they come over and just start talking to all of us. And honestly, in this moment, I didn't believe that this was actually happening, because this thing just kind of doesn't happen. And I mean, it was totally because Mackenzie was there and Mackenzie is friends with them and Mackenzie is awesome, but we had like a 5 to 10 minute casual conversation with Michaela, Dee Dee, and Grace. And Grace even had one of the posters that we handed out at our panel, and she said that she was signing them earlier in the day, so that was really cool. But I don't remember how, but at some point YouTube got brought up, and Michaela was like, oh yeah, I'm starting out on YouTube, and I said, yeah, I'm actually doing an animation based on the audio from one of your vlogs. And literally no hesitation at all, Michaela just goes, do you want me to film an intro for it? And I try to play it off super cool, like, yeah, totally, we should definitely collab on something together, but inside I was actually like, So we said we would meet up again and exchange contact info at some point, but I will get to that later. Now, Michaela, Dee Dee, and Grace started getting recognized, so they headed out before things got too crazy, and then Mackenzie went to go to a dinner, so it was just Vox, Tom, Slice, and I, and we were just reeling from what happened. So by now it's probably around 8:55 or so, and we decided to just go to the aquarium, at least show up, get something, worth the money that we paid for. So we were walking to where the MomoCon attendees are supposed to enter, and we actually run into Kelly Kirstein, For the Love of Claude, Jazzly, and Magda, and we asked if they were still letting people in, and at this point it was probably around 9:30 or so, and they said no, that they're actually kicking people out. So they asked where we were, and then we told them the whole story about how we got to talk to some of the voice actors. After we tell them the story, we start looking for a place to eat, and one thing I want to mention is that almost every restaurant closes by 9 in Atlanta. I don't know why that is, but when it's Memorial Day weekend with a convention in town, I would think that places would be open later, but honestly, it worked out for the best. So we each go our own ways to get food. Kelly and For the Love of Claude go off somewhere, Jazzly and Magda go off, and then Vox, Tom, Slice, and I go to the CNN food court because that is the only place close to us that is open till 10. So at this point, it's probably like 9:45, and we get there and we get some fast food, and this place is supposed to close at 10, but we hung out there till like 11:30 or so because a bunch of the convention attendees were still getting food, and they can't close until they serve all their customers, so it's about 11:30 or so. We finish up, and Vox has leftovers, and he wants to take them to his hotel room. Now, I was staying at the Omni Hotel, which was the headquarter hotel for the con, and the guys were staying at the Embassy Suites down the street. So while walking to their hotel, we passed the Omni, and the lobby area is mostly just full pane windows. So we were walking, and Tom was in front of the rest of us, and I just see him stop, turn his head to the left, and then point at one of these windows. So we all look over, and it's Zach Callison, who is the voice of Steven on Steven Universe. So there was this awkward moment of, do we go in and say hi? He was talking to some other fans and we didn't want to interrupt, but we go through the revolving door and we manage to get his attention before he walks away, and we introduce ourselves, and Vox says that we're friends with Mackenzie and Michael, who is the co-runner of Cartoon Universe, and Zach just goes, "Oh really? Here, put in your Instagrams." So he just hands us his phone and we all put in our Instagrams. And the funny thing is I actually forgot my username on Instagram for a second, and I awkwardly just kind of held on to Zach's phone until I could remember it, and he probably thought it was weird and I was just trying to put like my phone number in or something, but I promise I just forgot my Instagram username because I never used it really up until after MomoCon basically, and I still don't use it now that much, but I'll still leave a link in the description box if you want to follow me on there, just saying. But we got into a casual conversation for like 5 minutes or so, and then we just say that we'll see him tomorrow at the panels. So we drop off Vox's food in his hotel room, and we just kind of hang out in a park near the hotels and just recover from the amazing day that we had. But we still had Saturday and Sunday, both of which were a bit more relaxed than the amazing day that was Friday. So Saturday, we were looking for Mackenzie, and we head down to the autograph area to see if she was down there with any of the voice actors, and she wasn't, so we start heading back away from the autograph area. And as we were walking away, some guy runs up behind Vox and says, "Excuse me, sir, you're gonna have to calm down." And we all turn around, and it's Zach. So, I mean, this guy must have seen us walking around the convention center from his autograph table, finished up his autograph session, and then ran over towards us because we were already pretty far away from the autographs by the time that he caught up to us. So we say hi, and we ask if he has seen or heard from Mackenzie at all, and he says no, and then just tells us that he's going to go take a nap before the second voice actor panel starts. So we go to the voice actor panel and meet up with Mackenzie afterwards, and then run into Zach again, and honestly, we ran into Zach a lot during this convention. I don't know what it was just completely right place at the right time. We probably bumped into him probably 5 or 6 times this entire convention. So we hang out for a bit, and then we go to Mackenzie's panel that also had Dee Dee and Zach on it, talking about memes, which is probably my favorite panel of the whole con. And after it was over, we hopped up on stage with Zach and Mackenzie. Dee Dee had already left at that point, so we didn't get a chance to say hi to her, but we talked to Zach, and then we also started signing autographs with Zach on the stage because we gave the rest of those posters that we had at our panel away at Mackenzie's panel, which is really weird, very surreal that I was signing autographs with Zach Callison. But I also got to talk to Zach's dad for a little bit. He was really cool and nice. It was just a surreal thing that was happening, and it was amazing. Now, Mackenzie's panel ended, and For the Love of Claude's sing-along panel was right after, so I asked the guys if we should head over, and Zach actually is the one who answers and said, "Yeah, you guys should get over there because I hear that it's getting really full." So we say goodbye to Zach and Mackenzie and head over to the sing-along panel, and it actually got crashed by Dee Dee, and she's saying "It's over, isn't it?" And this was absolutely incredible. The panel itself was just so well executed and funny, and everyone on that panel did such an awesome job. So this pretty much wrapped up Saturday for MomoCon. Now I will say that something else did happen Saturday night that really just made the whole MomoCon experience completely surreal, but I don't think that this is the right time to tell this story, so maybe one day I will tell you guys what happened Saturday night at MomoCon 2017, but not right now. But this brings us to Sunday. Now, Sunday was probably the most relaxed of all, no big panels or anything like that, just enjoying what was left of the convention. Now, Sunday morning was the last time for autographs for Dee Dee and Michaela. We didn't want autographs, we just wanted to say hi and get in contact with Michaela for the collab. So me and the guys head down to say hi to Dee Dee really quick, and then we go over to Michaela's line where one of the staff lets us through. So we're waiting behind a cosplay group, and Vox and Tom see Kelly and For the Love of Claude, so they go over and say hi, and then Slice and I stay, but we see 2 MomoCon workers run up to Vox, Tom, Kelly, and Claude. And Slice and I are like, nah, this isn't gonna be good. So they go back and forth with the MomoCon workers for a bit, and then we see Vox and Tom get out of line, so Slice and I do the same and walk over to them, and apparently Michaela's line was closed, even though there were already a group of people in front of us, and a guy let us in, but whatever. So the guys, Kelly, Claude, and I were hanging out on the side of the line, and Jennifer Paz, the voice actor of Lapis, was doing a signing, and she noticed Kelly's Cheer.dot cosplay, so she looked over in our direction, and then I just tell the guys to wave, so we wave at Jen, and she actually waves back at us and gives us a little heart sign, so that was cute. So we're all just kind of standing and waiting on the side of Michaela's line, and then she actually notices us, and then mouths, "I'll come over there." So we're like, awesome! Michaela's gonna come over, but who shows up? The two security ladies from before, and basically they kicked us out of the line again and wouldn't let us anywhere near the autograph area. So we're waiting for Michaela to walk out onto the main floor, but she must have been a ninja because she maneuvered her way around this crowd in the opposite direction of where we were. So she never noticed us and walked away, and in that moment I thought that was it. I'm not gonna get to collab with Michaela, and I was so disappointed in that moment, but I'll get to that later. And then to add to that, Slice had to leave for his flight too, so that sucked, but Vox, Tom, and I met up with Mackenzie and her friends, and we were standing outside of the VIP area, so we were in this circle, and Slice, I'm not sure if anyone has told you this yet, so I'm sorry if this is the way that you're finding out, but Shelby Rabara, who voices Peridot, walks out with a suitcase, so we all say hi, and she stops for a second, says hi back, and Mackenzie asks if she's leaving for her flight. Shelby says yeah, so we all just kind of wished her a safe flight, and we said our goodbyes. So that was just a nice, quick little moment with Shelby. Again, Slice, I'm sorry if this is the way that you're finding out. But yeah, we briefly ran into Shelby Rabara while we were at MomoCon. But Mackenzie then got in contact with Grace, and Grace says that we can all head down there to her autograph table and hang out. So we get down there, and there was no one in line, so we talked to Grace until someone showed up in our line, and then we just kind of awkwardly all stood behind the voice actors table while they autographed. And this was me, Tom, Mackenzie, and then like 4 or 5 of Mackenzie's friends all showed behind these tables, so I was right behind Jen Paz, and it was super awkward and weird because I wanted to say hi to her, but she was obviously busy with everyone else in her line, so it was just an awkward moment, and honestly I kind of regret it because Jen was the only voice actor that we didn't get to say hi to at all. We just had that moment of her waving at us while we were waiting outside of Michaela's line after we got kicked out. But we eventually decide to just hang around the convention floor until it closes, and then we head up to the main floor, and we actually ran into Grace, and we talked to her for a bit, and then we noticed Zach heading up the escalator, so our whole group, Grace included, just starts yelling, "Zach! Zach!" until he notices us and heads over. And then we all just start talking like a super casual conversation, and then at one point this random guy who none of us knew just kind of inserted himself into our group and joined the conversation. But Grace and Zach talked to us for like an hour before they had to go catch a flight back, and then they all gave us hugs. It was just so great, so amazing. Wouldn't have ever dreamed or imagined something like that happening to me and, you know, everybody else at MomoCon. But from there, our group heads over to a restaurant that Slice and I were at on Thursday, and then we all got some food before I had to go catch my flight. So we eat, chat, talk, and then I say my goodbyes, and then head to the airport and catch my flight back home. While I was on my flight, I thought about kind of like how upset I was that I didn't get a chance to talk to Michaela again to give her my contact info, but then I thought about how incredibly lucky I was to be able to have the experience that I had at MomoCon. I got to meet so many new and amazing people. Caitlin, Katie, Will, Case, and Brian, you guys were all awesome, and I'm so glad that I got the chance to meet you guys. All the cosplayers I met, like I said before, Kelly, For the Love of Claude, Jazzalee, and Magda. Before I forget, I would just like to point out that For the Love of Claude said the F word in front of a kid cosplaying as Amethyst, and it was amazing. But meeting the voice actors was awesome, especially Zach and Grace. They really took the time to hang out and talk to us, and of course, my YouTube buds, Vox, Tom, Slice, and Mackenzie, you guys are all so awesome and amazing, and you guys inspire me every day, and I'm so happy that I get to call you guys my friends, and that we'll all be seeing each other soon again at New York Comic Con and Beach City Con. But these were the things that I thought of on my flight back, and even though I was upset about the collab thing with Michaela, I had an experience that people who have gone to multiple cons have never or will never have, and for that I am incredibly grateful for my entire MomoCon experience. So you may be asking yourselves, how did I end up collabing with Michaela? Well, I messaged her on YouTube a few days after I got back from Momo, and it just so happened that Mackenzie started her internship in Burbank around the same time, so Michaela asked about us, and then Michaela eventually got back to me on YouTube. We exchanged contact info, had an awesome Skype session, and then the rest is history from there. Michaela is just such an awesome, funny, and nice person, and being able to work with her was one of the most enjoyable experiences and opportunities I have gotten. So Michaela, if you're watching this, thank you so much. I love you. But the reason I had this opportunity to go to MomoCon and become friends with these Steven Universe YouTubers and meet the cast of Steven Universe is because of you guys. If you guys didn't watch or subscribe to my channel, I wouldn't have gone to MomoCon or had this experience that probably will be one of the best weekends of my life, if not the best. If anyone told me that in a year I would have had everything I just told you guys happen to me right before I hit publish on that first video, I would have said that you were crazy, but here I am, and YouTube has taught me not to be afraid to take chances and to put yourself out there, because it can take you places you never even imagined would be possible, and I will never be able to thank you guys enough for everything that you have done for me. But I hope that we can continue to grow as a community going forward, because I am excited for what the future brings, and I hope you are too. And I hope that this channel is bringing you some form of happiness, whether that's just watching my videos or inspiring you to make your own channel. You have all been so amazing and so supportive, and I love all of you guys so much for everything you have done for me. So here's to another year on YouTube. Thanks again. I love you all. And until next time, guys, take care.